Hello and welcome. I'm Vijayan Srinivasan and this is Talking Sense with Srini. In this edition, we are discussing Indian voters' tryst with incumbents, a trend that's hard to ignore these days. Take the 2023 state elections in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Chhattisgarh. The Bharatiya Janata Party returned to power across the Hindi heartland, with Madhya Pradesh delivering a record fifth straight term. Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh saw leadership changes, but the NDA bloc held ground. Then in 2024, Maharashtra registered a landslide victory. The Bharatiya Janata Party, led Mahayuti, already in power, swept 235 off 288 seats. In Delhi, the BJP returned after 27 years, marking a decisive rejection of the AAP's decade-long anti-establishment politics. Odisha ended Naveen Patnaik's 24-year run, but once again the winner was the party ruling at the centre. And in Bihar, Nitish Kumar found his way back to power once again. Across regions, ideologies, and political contexts, a pattern is emerging. Voters are increasingly willing to stick with incumbents if delivery feels real and the alternative looks weak. Now, as we head into 2026 five-state elections, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal, Assam, and the Union Territory of Puducherry, in most of them, incumbents aren't just surviving, they are competitive and even favoured. So, what does the shift really mean? Is India entering a pro-incumbency era? And how durable is this trend when it meets ground realities across these poll-bound states? Joining us to decode this further is our editor-in-chief, Srinivasan. I would like to begin with the very idea of pro-incumbency wave. Indian elections are often termed as anti-incumbency missions, right? The classic wisdom that, the government that's ruling right now would actually get voted out in the elections. But what we seem to be seeing right now is not just in 2026, but in the last couple of state elections, is a different mood. Would you call this as a genuine pro-incumbency wave, or you think the opposition has lost its fizz and it's that there is no alternative factor and there's no credible opposition, and the opposition's poll pitches are not really convincing for the voters, and therefore they go with the incumbents? How do you see it?
Yeah, so you have raised a very interesting point. I must say that this whole term, anti-incumbency, is very unique to India, and it's being used in Indian election. But the person who actually brought the term that the governments could be pro-incumbency is Pinarayi and Dorab Supariwala. The two psephologists who wrote a book, The Verdict, Decoding Indian Elections. And in this book, they have explained, why they're calling these as pro-incumbency. And some of the examples which you gave earlier, they had outlined and in detail and then given reasons why they think it's pro-incumbency. It's true that in India, electorate is not averse to repeating a government, allowing a government which is in power to come back to power once again, which you've been seeing very frequently. In the national election, you have seen it 3 times now. Narendra Modi has come back to power. Earlier, a lot of state elections have happened like this. So there are multiple factors. In my view, what is now happening is the overall politics is changing. The way we look at, whenever this particular election, these 5 states, is basically the performance of regional parties. And then the performance of, in a way, how a national party like BJP does in regions which it wasn't existing few decades ago. For instance, Northeast, BJP had no presence. Actually, BJP was largely considered as a North Indian party in the past. South, it had very limited presence and it is still trying to make an entry. But Karnataka has been a great success. Andhra, they've made inroads. In the previous election, in Kerala also, they performed well in the parliamentary elections. And in Tamil Nadu, they have been in coalition and not been very successful, but at least managed to increase their vote share here. So that's how the National Party is trying to make its entry here. So probably the word pro-incumbency was coined and used because there are, like I said, number of factors, also economic factors, governance, continuation. Why not give the government one more one more time, familiarity with the leader, popularity, uh, and also rightly you pointed out the absence of a credible opposition, which in the past used to be called as Tina factor, that there is no alternative. So you can see that also in a way that where the opposition is, in a disarray. There are some examples where it was believed that opposition was strong, they could beat at least. That's what people thought could happen in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Haryana. But then the results turned out to be completely very different in assembly elections. So that's where the term pro-incumbency once again came. And of course, Congress party was protesting, saying that apparently the elections were stolen or something has happened, something amiss. EC wasn't partial, those kind of things they have been saying. But psephologists and others have been looking at it differently. And if you go by the EC and the electoral system in India, and if you believe in it, obviously that pro-incumbency has become an important factor. So it's a significant electoral phenomena, and it's interesting that you have brought it up in this election because the same may happen if Stalin comes back to power, if Pinarayi retains Kerala, if Mamata Banerjee comes back to power, and Himanta Biswa stays as he is, and NRC Congress wins, then you have an absolute pro-incumbency. Now, most likelihood, it may not turn out that way. There could be some surprises, but if you were to weigh the odds, it seems to be more pro-incumbency.
No, but I think, when you talk of pro-incumbency wave here, I think it isn't just about the opposition, but we also see significant spending on, what the supporters call it as welfare schemes, and, while the critics call it as freebies or FDs, you think that's kind of acting as some kind of an insulator for the incumbents there?
See, it's become a given now. It's almost like a hygiene factor that if you are entering an election, you must offer electorate something. In Tamil Nadu, it's a very, very well rehearsed, well practiced. This is the only state perhaps
It's
where
the pioneers of freebies,
pioneer of, a lot of things they have done in the past, experimented, which is starting from mixies to grinders to
you start from
goats
televisions,
to
actually.
television, color TV, goat, cycles, computer, whatnot, even a bit of gold for marriage
Yeah,
for
that's right.
women, and all kinds of things. It has happened in Tamil Nadu. Vessels, cash. People getting 1,000 rupees, 1,500 rupees for cash for vote is very common here. All those things have happened, but this phenomena has taken a different shape now. Particularly after COVID, people have been in need of cash, and the arrival of digitalization of
The
economy,
DBT, direct benefit transfer.
and it's considered more efficient as opposed to trickle down benefits to people.
It's gotten more organized in a way.
So no, this is a different model. Instead of putting money in projects which it may not completely benefit, why not give the end user, put money in his pocket? Is a different way of reaching welfare scheme. Economists call it DBT, direct benefit transfer, and that we could achieve because of the India stack, the digital
That's right, the
transformation. Yeah, so that's why what has happened is this has now become more common now, and you saw increasingly different hues of it. Bihar election, 10,000 rupees. Tamil Nadu, almost 10,000. It's 9,000 rupees already given by Stalin. So this is now a given. I think after an election or two, people will understand that. Like in Tamil Nadu, they begin to understand here, whichever way, it's DMK, ADMK, we're going to get the money in any case.
Yeah.
So that stage will also come. But that's only one factor. The other factor is, if you look at Himanta Biswa Sarma in Assam, he's become extremely popular there. He is a highly polarizing figure, controversial. He's in fact going to the election saying that I don't need votes of any other communities. What he means is minority Muslims there. Is that he can win the election just on the basis of Hindus. And in a way, BJP has proved that they never give any tickets to Muslims. So they have already done this. So in a way, he's further reinforcing it. But on the other hand, he's also popular because of some of these things. These things he done and his style of governance and lot of projects which he could bring. And Assam is in the news. I don't think Assam was so much in the news in the past, constantly because of various shenanigans of of Biswa and other things there. Besides that, also lots of projects they got. So entire Northeast has got. So you are certainly seeing a change. In the case of West Bengal again, people perhaps when subnationalism is a kind of a put as a bulwark against nationalism, that also stands up. And that is what is tried both in Tamil Nadu and West Bengal, that this particular raising the, what is called in Hindi, asmita, the local pride, that they fall back upon. And regional parties do it very well. National parties can't do that because they are present all over. And regional parties are more concentrated, so they can do that. But one thing is very distinct from all this is Kerala. Kerala is very different. DBT doesn't matter there. Freebies don't happen. Cash transfer, you won't hear so much of booth capturing or even electoral malpractice. It's a very different state. The entire politics is very different there. It's more ideological based, more LDF versus UDF. BJP is now trying to make entry there, but that's the only state where, again, there too, the second time, Pinarayi Vijayan could win election, and if he wins, that itself was a record. And in case he wins for a third time, it will be really a very big record he'll be breaking. So in that sense, if it happens there, pro-incumbency would again work. So I think if you look at pro-incumbency factor, most probably, if you look, the possibility of Himanta looks very bright in Assam, Mamata very bright in West Bengal, Stalin bright in Tamil Nadu. Again, Pinarayi is bit, doubtful there because it's a very closely contested election. And NRC Chief Minister Rangasamy can also come back to power. So in that, if
four
that
out of five.
happens, yeah, 4 out of 5.
Even if you keep
then,
0.5 LDF, it's 4.5 out of 5. So
yeah, so there is a good possibility that this theory comes out true.
You talked about the persona, right? I think that's also playing a pivotal role in this election season. You're not actually voting for DMK. You're voting for MK Stalin in Tamil Nadu. Assam, it's not the Bharatiya Janata Party, but it's Himanta Biswa Sarma. It's not the TMC. It's Mamata Banerjee. I think even in Pinarayi, which is in the part of the left, CPIM, but not, it's Pinarayi Vijayan. So the personality cult is playing a pivotal role there. It's more of a referendum on the leaders themselves. So are we witnessing some kind of a presidentialization of state polls? We have seen in the center, Narendra Modi versus Rahul Gandhi and so on, but is it something happening for the states for the first time? And the leader becomes the ballot and not the party?
I won't say it's happening for the first time. You'll be tempted to say it's presidential, but that's how the states always have been.
No, but that's not the case in Haryana. Nayyab Singh Saini was there.
So that's a change.
Mohan Yadav in Madhya Pradesh.
That model is different, which BJP tried to bring in, which is a kind of an high command. In fact, in the past, even when Congress high command was very powerful, they could put anybody as a chief minister. It happened there also in the past. But there is a temptation to call as if presidential, but I won't call. See, it's very clear in all states. What matters really is the chief minister. So if you go to any state, most of the politics is conducted around the chief minister, and everything, whatever he does, he's always in the limelight. He's on the, he's the main focus. In that sense, there is nothing new in it that they are the one who lead, and but it would be, we won't be doing justice to say that Indian politics, in that sense, presidential, that the entire mandate happens only on one person. That's because the chief ministers who are able to form best social coalition is the one who leads. For instance, in Tamil Nadu also, it's a DMK alliance. It's AIDMK alliance. Now, DMK out of the total 234 seats or something is going to only contest about, I think, 150, 160 seats. They never contest more than that. So the remaining seats are left for other parties. And that's how a coalition of social coalition is built. And here, if you look at DMK, there are so many smaller parties that are also part of that coalition. It's one of the largest coalition where the Dalits are there, minorities are there, Muslims, Christians, the other communities, small communities, everybody is given a representation. There are parties which are fighting with 1 seat, 2 seat, and then there is also a personality. There is, you can't say that Kamala Hassan is no less a personality. Even he is there as a part of coalition getting 2 seats, of which of course he was very unhappy. But so there are leaders like that as well, part of this coalition. So in that sense, it's an umbrella coalition built here. Similarly, AIDMK. So here, at least, if you look at Kerala also, LDF and UDF, it's a coalition of various small political parties, and the leadership is provided by the leading party, which is what the Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan there. So they become the visual face, of the politics in that state. They are seen more, but then they obviously matter. But if they don't bring along others together with them, they'll find it very difficult to lead in that. And also, that's not the way people elect in India. Elections happen on the basis of, people voting for the local issues to their own MLAs, their own, party fellows, and they do look after their own regions. So that's how it happens. So, you're in that sense, if you're seeing one face and trying to say that all matters because of Chief Minister, it's not true. But they are the one who are the main engine. Like in the case of TMC, it's
Mamata
Mamata.
Banerjee, yeah.
You see, regional parties, sometimes it's built only on personality. It becomes private, limited
Entities,
company
yeah.
kind of a thing where, that's where the whole complaint of dynasty comes. So electoral politics is one, but within the party you will see that various descendants coming. The Stalin is coming from a certain stream. In Tamil Nadu, there is a stream which has come in Congress party, which constantly comes under criticism. And you would see happening this to SP in UP, other regional parties, whichever you say, even Akalis. So that is a different trend. In the case of TMC, now she has brought in her, I think, nephew. He's there as standing by Mamata Banerjee. So that's a different trend. But certainly, the chief ministers play a main role, but it's not so much presidential in my view.
Okay, and you think Kerala, you said Kerala could be a 50-50, and you think a pro-incumbency thesis would go for a toss there? Maybe Kerala could be the outlier this election season?
No, so you really don't know. You see, there is it is possible that Pinarayi Vijayan really springs a surprise. You see, that's because
But the state always had this idea of, alternating governments.
It was always, but 2021 election, he was able to beat it. He came for the second
yeah.
time. And if he does it for the third time, it's really big. But what has happened in parliament election in 2024 and now recent local body elections, the UDF has done really well, led by Congress. They have gained about 5.5% vote share in the local body elections. So certainly there is an edge. But the problem with the Congress party is it's within. They don't need enemies. They have a whole lot of
Lots of infighting going on.
Infighting. Whole lot of guys want to become chief ministers there. There is a set of state leaders. You have, Ramesh Chanitala. You have, there are a number of the Pradesh chief. Everybody is aspiring, but then you have other... K.C. Venugopal, who's in, he's more in the high command, but he is also a quite aspirant. And today only there was a statement from Shashi Tharoor saying, look, I'm not going to get in. So they have so much of infighting, even if they say before. And Sudhakaran, the prominent leader of, he was in Delhi yesterday. They kissed and make up. He's back in Kerala. But will they really help their own party on the ground, or because of their little differences, they pull each other's leg, is a question. Because LDF is very well organized. The day parallelly, even while Election Commission was announcing dates, left party, the CPM was announcing its candidates. They're so well organized. And the other front is still to figure out who their candidates were. So that's a real issue. So it's not going to be easy cakewalk for UDF just because the trend is in their favor, they'll have to really work hard to make this happen.
Shifting focus to West Bengal, Mamata has been in power since 2011, and that's 15 years, right? In most democratic system, the length of the incumbency would create a strong anti-incumbency wave, and BJP is exactly campaigning on that bit, correct? So raising the issues of law and order, women's safety, and political violence and economic stagnation as well. So, but how do you read West Bengal?
Yeah, sure. So it happened in Gujarat also. If Prime Minister, if Modi wasn't Prime Minister, he remained as the Chief Minister of Gujarat, he would have been actually for the fourth time he would have come. Maybe he would have even come for the fifth time. But the point here about Mamata Banerjee is that it's very interesting that she's making an attempt for the fourth time, and 3 times she could win. She looked bit. Last time it was expected that she may actually have a difficulty, but then she played, emotional card. One of her, she broke her leg. She campaigned along with that, and this time again, the dominating image is of her donning the robe of a lawyer, standing in the Supreme Court and arguing West Bengal's case, saying how she's being wronged by EC on SAR. I think that has actually had a lot of impact on people there, because on the ground, SAR had a huge impact. Even now, if you think the electoral rolls, if you look at electoral rolls, still not been finalized because number of objections are still being raised and invited and sorted out. And therefore, that issue had really had an impact, because the whole exercise was conducted by BJP, which by CEC, with BJP campaigning very subtly, saying that they're trying to clean out invaders, Ghuspetiyas, as Amit Shah loves to call them, and therefore a whole lot of them are invaded into West Bengal, and they need to be cleaned out. But this exercise doesn't seem to be heading that way. Rather, people are feeling pretty harassed by these, more of bureaucratic hassles. For instance, pictures not matching, a wife's, name not matching because she had a different name before marriage. Post marriage, her name was changed, or the spelling was changed. Father's spelling doesn't match. Husband's spelling doesn't match. Whole lot of these kind of issues have really created a huge mess there, and that's really caused quite a stink there, and she's really managed to encash on that, and she's trying that she'll be able to give a better governance based on that. But BJP is not leaving them. They are still, for instance, the RG Kar case, where 2 years ago a doctor was raped within the hospital premises, and today again there's another incident. A lift collapsed and one fellow died, bringing back the images of the perception of there's perhaps a poor governance within the hospital. So it is not as if the governance issues in West Bengal are very bright. There are problems, there are issues, but when BJP is very doing a hard thrust on nationalism, Mamata Banerjee is trying to counter with her own sub-nationalism, as I called earlier. The other factor is the center's kind of trying to, impose itself on the state. See, very unprecedented things have happened in West Bengal during now. Already CRPF and other central forces have been deployed even before the elections. As dates are announced, they were sent, flag marches and other things were started. Almost all the top officers have been transferred out. I mean, Chief Secretary, who's the principal number one officer in a state, he's been transferred, unprecedented. DGP, top police officers, about 294 equivalent to number of constituencies. IS officers have been brought in from outside the state as observers, and all the DMs have been transferred within the state, and they have been put on new positions, which has without any, which should not be related to election work. So much of thing have been done by EC, so much of precaution. So obviously that leads to a kind of a issue that why so much, you know, emphasis, why so much attention being given to West Bengal. And Mamata Banerjee is trying to encash on that, and she said, in fact, that this is an undeclared emergency imposed on us by the center. So basically, she's trying to turn it into a center versus state issue and local pride, asmita issue. And these are the kind of things which she's raising, as opposed to BJP's issue of law and order, of
Jobs.
infiltration, jobs, all those kind of things. BJP is also facing certain issues there. You know, they had formed. One has to see how these community groups, which they have cultivated over the years, react to them, like Matuas, Rajbanshis, the Gorkhas, the Gorkha land. In all these places, they had promised, but perhaps they're short on delivery on the promises have not been kept. So those are also irritating issues for the electorate there. They again try to look at the elections by also you have looking at whether even if they don't get minority votes, can there be some kind of a division in those votes? So all kinds of strategies are being drawn and attempted, but I think the fight in the state is going to be pretty keen and pretty interesting. Thing here is BJP is going to launch a no hold bar, very strong campaign there, and where Prime Minister himself, Amit Shah, all those will participate. So we'll see how the momentum builds and what kind of counter Mamata Banerjee does. So it's still, the game is, as as she says, the khela it's not over. So it's still, one has to
Picture
see.
abhi baki hai.
Yeah, so we have to see that.
In Tamil Nadu, what's usually a vanilla contest between the Dravidian majors DMK and AIDMK has gotten interesting this time with a new entrant, Tamilaka Vetri Kazhagam. We have spoken a lot about Vijayan in the Talking Sense with Srini's past episodes as well. You think a split opposition indeed there, with the NDA on one side and Vijay on the other side. Vijay has said that he's planning to go solo, despite attempts from the BJP to join, stitch together an alliance there. So you think a split opposition usually helps the incumbent there? You think Vijay's political entry would actually help MK Stalin win the upcoming elections?
It looked as if Vijay really is going to make a huge difference in Tamil Nadu politics. It's, in a way, it has become three-way, and therefore certain votes are going to split. And the biggest question is whose vote he is going to split. Is it going to split DMK alliance vote, or is he going to split AIDMK alliance votes? There was an attempt, very severe attempt made by the BJP, source-based largely, which to bring him on board, Vijay on board, but perhaps that didn't work out. The thing here is whether the question is, he has really made this election into three-cornered fight. The problem here is that he's perhaps not been able to find enough candidates to field. There are 234 constituencies and he's not even finding enough candidates. And then in the interviews, whatever we heard is also the candidates, whether they are getting the entire machinery which is required, whether they have enough people to manage various booths. All those things are a big question. The electoral organization is a big question for Vijay and his party. Even if he manages to get some smart vote share, he still needs to bring people to the polling booth. So the thing is, there is one thing to talk and say about, a glamour in election, an actor fighting, and therefore the fans willing to support him. But how much of it actually translates is yet to be seen. Like I said earlier, thing also that for Vijay, one of the biggest thing was he wanted to build a coalition, but nobody was willing to join him. Others are actually, so he couldn't build a coalition of his own. Nobody, he couldn't break the way he expected to break AIDMK. That didn't happen. He didn't actually spell out in detail what he wants to do, except saying few things here and there, calling BJP as an ideological enemy and DMK as a political enemy. Other than these large, global statements, he hasn't done that. And what has kind of looked like setback a bit is the Karur incident where 41 people died. But he managed to bounce back in a way. That's how the perception was that he managed to come around that issue. But then he really has not been after that make any big splash. Only now uh, during the last few days he did come out and uh, present his secular image.
Ramadan outreach.
Yeah, he did an outreach and trying to show that, look, he stands with minority community. That's the only first thing he has done. But whether he can change the ground in the coming days, we have to see, because the elections are still 1 month ago. Even if he manages to do some aggressive campaign, can they translate into vote is another big question. So, but certainly his entry has made this election very interesting and unpredictable in Tamil Nadu.
Okay, so in Assam, Himanta Biswa Sarma is a double incumbent, and he runs the state while his party governs at the center. Traditionally, that's seen as a liability because the voters tend to, sort of blame one for the other's mistake, right? But he seems to have flipped that image, right? I mean, BJP is campaigning under the brand that's what they call as double engine sarkar. So what does it actually talk about as BJP's Assam strategy?
Yeah, so initial strategy, since BJP had no presence, was like in business they say, if you cannot, if you don't have, you can't grow,
Do some
organically,
acquisitions.
you do some acquisition. So what they did was one of the major successful acquisition, or rather it happened on its own, was Biswal's rebellion from Congress party.
That's a poaching, yeah.
Yeah, so he came out. No, I don't think they tried to. He himself was very
Interesting.
yeah, he was actually, otherwise he had a good time under the previous leader, Gogoi's father. So, but but then later BJP now with him at the helm, running for the second term, seemed to be decimating the opposition completely. If you look at, the PCC chief former, he is in now BJP. If you see Bordeloi, who was actually a manifesto committee chairperson, he is now in BJP. His son is also declined the ticket which was offered to him. It's now doubted that probably the leader of opposition may also switch sides. So what has happened is they have earlier got people from Congress party, and Congress did give a fight in the last election. This time it appears that even that fight they may not be able to give, because under Gogoi's leadership, the party seemed to be in a complete disarray, and it's crumbling. How much he is able to hold it together, one has to see, because Himanta Biswa has made personal attacks on Gogoi and made him as a principal target, and Gogoi was able to answer back some of those. So it appeared as if he will be able to sustain the onslaught and give an alternate politics there. But what has happened in last 1 week doesn't give that much confidence. So it seems that Himanta Biswa Sarma is in a very strong wicket. And he could really overcome, like you said, the double engine sarkar. The advantage of that, and he could fully exploit that, yeah.
And last but certainly not the least, Puducherry. We heard that there are lots of bickerings in both, NDA and the India bloc, but now I think NDA seems to have made some, changes and all that. So it seems intact. And well, no, that's not the case with the India bloc there, the DMK and the Congress party there. Whom do you think has got the edge there?
Yeah, it's a very small place, only 34 seats,
That's
but
right.
it's pretty interesting. And Rangasamy is an extremely colorful person. He hitchhikes, perhaps on a scooter ride. He was playing tennis yesterday morning when BJP leaders came to. He plays tennis in his own courtyard every day. When they came to see him, they wanted to. There was an appointment fixed. He played his tennis, got into a car, and left for left for some outstation destination to visit a temple, and they were quite shocked. So till yesterday, it looked as if NDA alliance is not going to happen, which means BJP is Rangasamy is going to break away from BJP. But today, if you see the news, I don't know what happened in 24 hours. Things have changed dramatically. He's back in the saddle. Probably he got what he wanted. But he has given quite a respect to BJP by giving them nearly 14 seats, and then said, whereas AIDMK is a third partner here with just barely, I think, 2-3 seats they are getting.
Yeah.
So therefore, it seems that NDA alliance headed by Rangasamy is in pretty strong wicket right now in Puducherry. The Congress, on the other hand, has got a very different kind of a problem here. See, Congress is a larger party. They had the chief minister for a very long time before BJP came in. It was ruled and dominated by Congress. Unlike Tamil Nadu, though they are neighboring state, Congress managed to hold its ground in Puducherry. But what has happened is now DMK has grown ambitions. DMK wants to go and participate in that election. So the alliance talks there kind of between Congress and BJP ended up in a bit of a mess, with DMK saying that we should have equal number of seats, 16 each, and 2 seats could be given to other smaller parties. But Congress did not agree to that. Congress wanted the same formula which they applied in Tamil Nadu, which DMK imposed them. They wanted the same formula there as well. They said, look, you are a dominant party in Tamil Nadu, and we are agreeing to your conditions, though you only increased 3 seats from 25 to 28. We still agreed, but here, we should listen to what we are saying because we have a larger presence. But I think DMK has refused to do that, saying that this whole alliance formation in Tamil Nadu has resulted in quite a mess for DMK also. I think apparently Stalin has made a very strict this thing that, okay, we'll go ahead. As of today, almost all the, I think 30 seats they are contesting, they have fielded the candidates everywhere. DMK's candidates they have decided to go ahead and alliance or no alliance, they'll go and, file nomination. So there's a bit of a conflict there, but I think maybe there'll be some withdrawals, there could be some last minute solutions. We still have to wait and see. So though it's a very small state, but really it seems to be touch and go between the two.
Very insightful talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.